So I'm just setting up the live stream, please bear with me. So I'm setting up a Chromebook to watch the stream so I can see your comments, basically. Okay, so there's been a bit of a journey to get to this point, to get the sim up and running. As you all probably know, there's been massive problems with the server farms all over the world, with them being overloaded for Flight Simulator 2024. And I've had to sidestep some of those problems to get this working. And the way I've done that, and this is absolutely an advert, not paid for, but this has saved my bacon. I have went and bought an account with NordVPN, and I have connected my computer to the US. And then after doing that, the Flight Simulator obviously connects to the US servers, and it's absolutely fine. So yeah, Asobo this morning, or at some point during today, obviously fixed the US server farm. And I guess they're rolling out those fixes throughout the entire world, but that takes time. But in the meantime, I have a fully working version of Flight Sim 2024 now by connecting to the US servers via NordVPN and then using the simulator. So it loaded very, very quickly. Once it had decent servers to connect to, there were no pauses whatsoever. So, what are we going to do? We're going to go and do the career mode, because this is the main thing that everybody's been talking about. Now, first things first. Yeah, so just looking at live stream comments there, the US server farm appears to be working perfectly now. So if you're in that part of the world, or you connect via VPN via that part of the world, you'll be absolutely fine. So if we go into the career mode and go to certification, it does walk you through this initially and it describes everything. Obviously I've already been in here once and I've done my PPL already, but I'm going to go and redo it with you guys just to show you what's involved. So if we go and do PPL, there's all sorts of training sessions you can do. So this is for people who've never flown an airplane before, you know, explaining pitch control and roll control and power and basic maneuvers and pre-flight. So it's got this, I don't really like it, and you can skip it, as you'll see. You can walk around the aeroplane pulling all of the covers off everything and wiggling the ailerons and everything, as you know, it's part of the game now. So the stock Cessna is fully set up to do it. I imagine they've just borrowed the idea from some of the other developers who've already done that sort of thing. Okay, so what should we do? So I've already done the pilot test, so let's go down. I'll go and redo this. So I'm going to do a solo first flight. And it will go to a predefined location, so you can see how quickly that loaded that scenery. It seems to be offset to one side, which is a bit odd. We do have this free cam option as well, which I guess... Can we move? Yeah, we can use the WAS and D keys to fly around with the free cam, as you can see down the bottom. So the keyboard keys for the simulator are completely different. But when you're in flight, you can go back to the 2020 keyboard settings, which I've done just for the moment until I get used to it or reconfigure it. So what's it asking us to do for this flight? Take off, 75 knot climb out to 5,300 feet, then up to 5,700 feet, 6,000, 75 knots down through. So I think it will give us instruction on the way as well. So if we go back into the briefing, he says, famous last words. Has it got stuck already? I do believe it has. So famous last words, isn't it? I tried to come in here to show you something and we get stuck in the simulator. Wonderful. So we can use F and R to change our height apparently. Yeah, this is broken. There are bugs all over this simulator, by the way. But having said that, oh no, it's come back to life, look. Back to briefing. It's having real problems. Yeah, it's all very well saying joystick button 2, but what button does it mean by that? When you've got 18 buttons on a joystick. No, it's stuck. This has actually broken. Oh well, never mind. We just won't come back into this free look mode because we can't get back out of it by the look of it. This will give you a chance to see how quickly it will load. I've shut the sim down. We'll just wait for it to go away. There are bugs. There are lots of small bugs. So we're just waiting for the sim to disappear. If we go and have a look. I've just killed it. There we go, it's gone away. So now we're connected to the US servers. It's not going to take very long to load, which is pretty good. Well, I'm using the Thrustmaster Airbus stick and throttle, the captain's pack, the Airbus ones. But to be honest, that's the first bug I've seen in the last few hours since I've got it up and running. The only major issue I've got with any of my hardware so far is the Tobii Eye Tracker just flat out doesn't work. And if you try to configure it, it crashes to desktop instantly. Despite Tobii saying on their website that it works for 2024, it obviously doesn't yet. But we're on, we're on day 2, so I'm not going to get too worked up. So it goes through activating packages. So we give it a few moments to do that, and we watch the same video we've all been watching for the last 48 hours, endlessly. There are all sorts of issues at the Microsoft end, don't worry. That they are still working on how to get everything working smoothly. So once it goes through activating packages, I can't say it tonight. It will carry on. Let me just check my volume levels as well. Make sure you can hear me okay. Yeah, you can. So we go loading package content, then it loads the sim objects and it whizzes through doing that. Then it loads the world. And if you have decent servers at the other end, which I now have apparently, unless America's fallen over, then you'll see that will shoot across fairly quickly. It will go up to about 50 odd and then shoot across to 80 odd. And yeah, there we go, look, 80, 90 and straight into the game, and we're in. So if we say start and go career mode, and this is what it wasn't doing earlier, obviously. So we're going into our headquarters. And we're going to go and do certification again, just so you can see me do it. We'll go to the private pilot's license again. We'll go and do the solo first flight. And we'll start the training rather than mess around with that camera, which broke. So the eye tracking works on the Tobii Eye Tracker, but the head tracking doesn't. And their Discord server is a sight to behold, with people threatening to set fire to their entire village, as the internet tends to be when people don't get what they want right now. So at the moment it will be loading in the solo flight training area and the aeroplane, and getting some of the voice stuff ready, I guess, and the animations. So it didn't take this long earlier, but I guess that's just proof that the servers are having ups and downs as we go along. So I'll give it a few moments and hopefully it will wake up. It's a little bit frustrating, isn't it, at the moment? There we go. So, start.
It's time. Your first solo flight. I'll be watching from the ground, in radio contact if you need me, but something tells me you won't. Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember everything we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine. Good luck. See you on the other side.
Okay, so it's saying take off, so I come off the parking brake, make sure my flaps are up. I've reverted, by the way, before we get going, to the 2020 keybinds. So if I go and have a look around outside, you can see what the new sim looks like. It does look spectacular. There's no other word for it, really. It's incredible. Okay. So we rotate at 55 knots and then we climb out. We're doing 215 degrees runway direction by the look of it. So we need to climb out to 5,300 feet, then up to 5,700 feet. I think it will come up with markers as we get closer to the points around the circuit. Yeah, there we go, look. So it still does help you. So we're looking for a 75 knot climb out. So it wants me to go a little bit faster, so I'll just drop the nose. So this is all just about testing your control, really, that you can maintain control of an aeroplane. So for any of us that are seasoned flight simmers, it's a bit like sucking eggs, but it's good fun from an academic point of view. So we're just coming up towards 75 knots. And there's 5,300 feet, we're just coming through, maintain 75 knots. So it wants us to do that left turn. So climb to 5,700 feet, maintain 75 knots. So I'm guessing it wants us to go to 6,000 feet now, yep. So all it's really doing is just drumming into you good circuit practice with some numbers to chase. to see how accurately you can maintain a given speeds and altitudes. So it's coming up to 6,000 feet, so we'll scrub out the vertical speed there. Maintain 80 knots, so it wants you to go to cruise power really. That's what it's really doing. So we'll maintain 6,000 feet. We've maintained 80 knots. It's now saying to extend flaps by 10 degrees, but we don't need to do that really until we get to the end of the going a bit slow, until we get to the end of the downwind leg. So yeah, we reach the end of the downwind leg and then extend flaps by 10 degrees, and we hope to maintain 80 knots in the... Does it want us to maintain 80 now? Yes, it does. And I think you get marked on how well you held 80 knots for. So obviously we're not maintaining 80. So we've reached the end. So flaps have gone to 10 degrees and we begin left turn. Look at that ground below us. So maintain 75 knots, so dropping the speed basically. We've gone a bit tight on the turn there. So we're a little bit high, so let's get it onto the pappies and get the speed back down to 65. It wants exactly 65, doesn't it? Which is interesting. So I'm probably not going to do very good on accurate airmanship here because of what we've been doing. A bit slow. Look at it wiggling. The physics are a lot better. You could see I had a bit of an induced oscillation there because I put the brakes on before I'd really stabilized.
You did well, but you can do better.
Yeah, we know that because I wasn't on the numbers.
You're becoming one hell of a pilot.
So let's see how it marks that. Obviously I wasn't super accurate all the way around. So yeah, look, takeoff wasn't great, crosswind leg was better, downwind leg wasn't great, base leg wasn't, none of it was on the numbers. But I would kind of disagree with them chasing the numbers to that level, but there you go. So I got a B. I got an A the first time I think I tried it. So when you go and do the exam, it does pretty much the same thing, but you do it at your local airfield. So should we go and have a crack at it and see what it does? So I've already done it once, but it doesn't hurt to do it again, does it? So it gives you your basic layout. So I chose Booker Airfield or Wickham Air Park as my base area to go and do my flight. So you can turn the clouds on or off. I'll just leave them on, it's fine. So we'll go ready. So you get to design your character, so you can make him look vaguely like you if you want.
Then join me inside.
Again, you don't have to do all of this, so you can just say next phase if you want to skip. So this doesn't score you any points going around doing the walk around, but it's good, you know, from a general interest point of view, I guess. Hold next flight phase to skip to taxi. It's not going to let us, is it? That's broken again. Unless there is no key mapped to it, maybe. The reason for that, maybe, is if we come back to the controls and go into keyboard, because I put it on the 2020 traversal, which means it's using the 2020 keys, it probably hasn't got a mapping for it. There we go, look, Alt and N to skip to taxi, that's why. That's probably why we were stuck in the map as well earlier. So let's use the default keys. So the training expects certain things.
And you'll be fine. Now, show me the best traffic pattern that you've got.
Okay, so we're going to press enter to announce our taxi.
Wickham Traffic Cessna Golf. Bravo Sierra Uniform Papa is taxiing to runway 24.
See, the only issue I've got with this before we get going, if we go and look in the settings, I want to go and map something to make me sit up in the seat. So if I go and look at controls and I go to my joystick, I'll just put it on a random button on the joystick, which I know isn't used. And we'll go and search for, actually I know where to look for it, so I don't need to do that. Let's go down to camera, cockpit camera. Where is it? Quick view up. No. Cockpit view upper, that's what I want. If I put that on that button, and then go back and save and back, I can do that. Yeah, that's all I really wanted, just to make myself more comfortable to see out of the aeroplane. So we just need to taxi down to hold short. Now notice it wants a particular taxi path. So it figures this out of whichever airfield you choose. And it's winter here, so there are no leaves on the trees. It's all looking very sparse, isn't it? I'm just checking I have got wheel brakes on the trigger, which I've already reconfigured. So I need to stop the aircraft in this box to complete this part of the plan.
Wickham Traffic Cessna Golf. Bravo Sierra Uniform Papa taking off runway 2 for left closed traffic.
So when you design your pilot, you get to configure the voice as well as how he looks. Okay, so let's just check. Flaps are good, brakes are good. So we're going to accelerate to 55 knots and climb out. And we were looking for a 75 knot climb to 5,300 feet, although it will be a different altitude target here. Probably be 1,000 feet initial climb and up to 1,500 for the circuit, I would have thought. So we got 55 knots and rotate. Then let the aircraft climb and accelerate, hopefully. It's not wanting to accelerate though. at all. Keep the nose down and let it get some speed up, and then we'll maintain the speed. Yeah, it's not wanting to accelerate at all. Flaps are retracted. I'm just dropping the nose to let it get some speed. There we go. I wonder if it's got a problem with flaps sticking, or maybe something like that. So we're supposed to be at 75 knots, aren't we? So let's just turn that into altitude. It won't hurt.
Wickham traffic Cessna Golf. Bravo Sierra Uniform Papa 2 miles. Southeast 1,500 feet inbound to land runway 24.
So it's a little bit of guesswork here with what it's trying to get you to do all the time. So it hasn't announced the descent look, but it's asking, yeah, it's going, it's fine. We can side slip it if we need to. Because obviously we know how to fly an airplane. This is a very, very steep approach. It's nowhere near the VASI lights. So we're basically going to glide down with full flaps. And we're not losing speed, so we're going to cheat a little bit and side slip it in to lose some speed. It's interesting, isn't it, how different the flight model is. So it's obviously way off the VASI lights there. So it wants us to taxi back off the runway and then go and hold short on the grass before we announce our intentions. So again, a lot of this is kind of very generalized and it's not accurate. So the circuit we did isn't the circuit at Wickham at all. It's nothing like it. But look at the grass. Look at all the daisies. It's incredible, isn't it? Once we've done this, we'll just go and do a free flight and have a little look around because it is such a pretty simulator. Oh, we're going to break the box. The brakes are pathetic on the 172, by the way.
Bravo Sierra Uniform Papa is taxiing to parking.
So we have to taxi back to our parking stand. So while we're doing that, we'll just go slowly and we'll actually have a look around. So she's my examiner. You get all sorts of different characters. They're lip synced as well, so when they're talking, if you look at them, you can actually see them talking. It's a bit more like a proper video game. So this is the essence of the license tests and the missions and things like that. So it's not difficult at all, really. It's just following instructions blindly and doing things fairly accurately. And then you score points, and those points can be traded in to go for the next rung up the ladder of whatever it is. And bit by bit you unlock, you know, doing sightseeing flights, cargo flights, rescue missions, whatever it happens to be. But this is all stock scenery, obviously. This isn't the bespoke version of Wickham. I don't know if this would work with the bespoke version, to be honest. Probably would, because it would remap the taxi areas and stuff, wouldn't it? Okay. So set the parking brake, and Control Shift and E will shut the airplane down in a hurry.
Great job. There's always room for improvement, right?
So yeah, I did a lot worse that time than the first time. I got 97% across the board. I think I got like 100, 190 and 90 something last time, but obviously, yeah, I wasn't at the correct altitudes throughout, but you can see how it scores it. It's quite clever. So I can see this is kind of a nice way of gamifying the simulator, that you can have all of these tests and stuff to do, but it's all right. I can see there's a lot of people are going to complain vociferously that the simulator has changed so much, but then it fixes a lot of things at the same time. So should we go and have a look at a free flight? And we'll go and pick an aeroplane. So obviously now you've got all of these aeroplanes. So this is everything I'd bought from the store, and all of the new ones are all in here. So I've not looked at any of them yet. So this is all new to me as well. You can see there are a lot of aeroplanes in here now. And all I've tried so far was the Cessna. So this is going to be interesting. Shall we go and pick something where we can actually see? Yeah, so Microsoft have obviously licensed the Optica from Got Friends, because it's now listed as Microsoft Got Friends. Maybe they bought them out for all we know. If we configure the aeroplane, does that give us liveries? See what happens. Yeah, so you get different versions of the aeroplane. So there's the passenger version, or there's the scientific research version. I guess you might get different abilities. Oh, they're variants, sorry. So variants and liveries are now separate from each other. Interesting. So they've put an extra layer in there. So rather than just have a separate aeroplane, it's a variant of the aeroplane, and each variant can have its own liveries. That's interesting. So we'll pick the Optica then. Then we'll come back and let's go and fly somewhere that we know is high traffic and difficult to simulate. Should we go to New York? It'll be a proper stress test of the graphics card, won't it? So this is a 4090, obviously. It's further up here, isn't it? So if we go into... You can see it's lagging, pulling the city in on the map. if we fly in from one of the small airfields over to the side, so we'll set Linden as our departure. If we zoom in far enough, it's just as it used to be. You get to pick where you want to take off from. So we'll set a parking spot. So that's broadly the same. You do get the tablet, which appears inside the aeroplane as well. So you can put all your flight plan and everything in if you want to. But we're just going to go and have a bit of fun flying an aeroplane around. So, sorry I haven't been looking at the live stream comments. So you can see how quick that loaded in. It's still pulling it in. Shall we go and change the time of day? Obviously it's dark, which is not helpful. So, ready to fly. Let's go and change the time. This is all foreign to me as well at this point, remember, so please bear with me with being a bit rubbish at setting this up. So let's go and put this into... Watch the trees. So you can see the trees are changing. You're getting the autumn colours look in October. We'll try that while we're in the air. So if we go for July, and rather than having live weather, let's see, has this changed? I doubted this might change very much. A few clouds. We'll try that. Okay, so you can use basically normal gaming keyboard shortcuts, so ASDW, to walk around the aeroplane. So you can then go and click on these active spots on the way around. If you do it right. So you can like kick the tyres. You have to hold on to them for a length of time for it to register it, apparently. I find this a bit flaky to do it, but... Oh, I guess you have to have it in view to do it. So it's asking you to look at the brake. So you have to have it in view to do it. And we can get rid of that. So it all makes sense once you actually think in terms of the way it's been designed. So they're asking you for actually to go and look at something. So if you're not close enough, like I'm the wrong side of... Oh no, I'm the right side of the tyre, so I can select it. We won't do the handles until last. So this side will need to be here to get to the brake. Otherwise we can't select it. Is it going to let me? Maybe not. Okay, it was just a delay on it. So you can get the idea. You can just walk around your aeroplane and give the ailerons a wiggle. So we've seen this in some of the third-party aircraft. They've obviously borrowed the idea. So just checking surfaces, and okay, they want us to give the rudder a wiggle, do we? Yep. And that ticks it. There's the handle over there we haven't clicked on yet. The handle will put us back in the aeroplane. So we can give the elevator a wiggle, give this rudder a wiggle. So you just basically work your way around until you've covered off all of the click spots. And then when you come back, by selecting the handle, it will put you back in the cockpit. Well, that's the... Oh, that's probably is that a foot peg of some description? Why is it not... Oh, there we go. It was just me. So, looking around inside, you can see they look very, very good. Like, surprisingly good. So let's cheat and use Control E, because I can't remember how to start this off the top of my head. And we'll go and have a look outside. Now the views have changed. The end key no longer does the outside view. And I can't remember what is it, backspace now to toggle? Yes, it is. So you get some idea of the rendering capability of this simulator now. it's good. So I just wanted to check things like the flap throws. That's pretty cool. So if we press backspace again, we're back inside, and this is back as it was. Is the walk around optional? It does seem to do it on the airplanes I've seen, whether you like it or not, but you can skip it. There's a keyboard combination to skip straight past it. So nav, strobe, we don't want strobes yet, taxi light on. Okay, so where are we? That's a good point actually. Is the map, is there a map anymore? It's in the tablet, isn't it? So we now get a tablet instead of the map, and we can drag this around the screen. And you can get 3D versions of this as well inside some of the aeroplanes. So I don't think this one has it. So some of them implement it. The Cessna has it as an actual 3D artifact in the cockpit. But if they don't have it, then you can always open it up here. And this has tons of functionality. I haven't really scratched the surface with it yet. So if we go and have a look, yeah, map settings, you can go in and show terrain highlights, satellite map. This is going to kill off so many add-ons. You can show the weather on it. You can show navigation. It is absolute madness. So you can do your flight planning in here. It's a little bit mad. It's killed off so many add-ons that they've just folded them in there into the sim. And I expect some of those developers were saying this isn't fair, but so where does the runway start here? I have no idea where I am. So we joined in New York somewhere, didn't we? Hello, there's a helicopter on the runway. So we try and avoid them then. I keep pressing the old key bindings and I can't help myself. I keep doing it. The quality, and I'm not sure if it will come through on the stream because stream gets compressed a little bit, but the quality of the trees is just out of this world better. Okay, let's fly off towards New York. So we want to be going northeast, don't we, from here? So reverse direction from the direction we're going. And there's the city, way out in the distance. But we've got a nice aeroplane here to scout around and explore. So let's go and do this from outside, I guess. So this is obviously just photogrammetry, so this will be entirely dependent on the area you're in. So we may have been better off, after we've had a look at New York, we'll go and have a look elsewhere. Worth pointing out, the air traffic is going to be accurate to Flight Radar 24, isn't it? They're integrated with it. So if we pull up the tablet, can we see various things that I owned before have loaded themselves in, which I may go and delete, like Super Carrier, which I don't really want anymore. If we pull open the tablet, you can obviously see there's one of the big New York airports. reports. Can we show traffic on here somehow? Traffic is on. Okay. I would have expected to see the aeroplane on there. Why am I not seeing airplanes? I would see well, there's an airplane up there. I'd expect to see a lot more than that around New York. Maybe it's not showing the overhead traffic, or you know, the AI traffic. So, does Y still do Slew? No, it doesn't. So let's go and find out. So if we go to settings and go to controls and keyboard and search for Slew, what have they put? Set Slew mode on. So it's been completely removed. Look, toggle Slew, Shift and Z. So they have completely done away with the old keyboard shortcuts, it would seem. So Shift Z puts us in Slew, and then W, A, S and D allow us to move ourselves around. So we'll just wait for the scenery to load in a little bit. So Shift Z will untoggle it, and we'll go back inside the cockpit, and we'll see how quickly this actually loads the scenery. That's pretty smooth, isn't it? You can see it's still loading it in. It will improve over the next minute. We did zoom straight up to it, which wouldn't normally happen. But it's smooth, isn't it? You can see the way they're parcelling out the work to the GPU has changed. So what about street level? What about if we come down over the bridges? From what I've seen earlier, there's a lot more traffic on the roads than there ever was before. Yeah, you can see, look, there's hundreds of cars around. What about if we change the time of day and get it into the kind of golden hour, as they call it? Get some long shadows going on. Interesting. So if we do that. That looks almost photographic. That's bizarre. Now we've given it a chance to catch up. That's pretty spectacular, the quality of the photogrammetry now. And the render distance. Okay, this is running on a 4090, so you'd kind of expect it, but it shows what it's capable of, doesn't it? Pretty impressed with that. So anybody that's joined this in the last few minutes, in Europe we've had horrific problems connecting to Flight Simulator since its launch, and that is still the case as far as I'm aware. This evening I was talking to a friend in Canada, and the game that people seem to be playing is the US servers have been fixed. So if you use VPN, I went and bought an account with NordVPN this evening. So I am connecting via NordVPN to the US servers. So as far as Flight Simulator is concerned, I am coming to it from the US, and it has fixed everything. So I guess they are working like mad at Asobo to roll out the changes they have made for the US server farms on Azure to, you know, to roll out across the rest of the world, which is no small job. So you can understand why it's taken them a while. It very much depends. It's potluck when you boot up of which server farm you grab, and they may have fixed it. In the intervening last couple of hours, it may have all been fixed. I don't know. But this looks stunning, doesn't it? Should we turn the time a bit further? See what the nighttime lighting is like. See if it's changed at all. So if we go into the early hours of the morning. Turn back towards the city, there's Central Park. So back towards Manhattan. I guess we should put our lights on. So L does no longer put... Oh, it does put the lights on. I tell a lie. This just doesn't have very bright external lights. Yeah, I'm not so impressed with the night lighting of the stock city. It's not great, is it? Tokyo's far better. Okay, so we've had a little look at somewhere that was kind of one of the showcases for the old simulator, but this isn't really going to show off what they've done with the new one. Let's go to somewhere else. So if we go back to the main menu. I mean, look how smooth these transitions are now. They're very clever. Half the reason for that is the world is the same world you are flying around. So the one you see in the menus, it's the same code base. So, you know, it's existing in the same memory space. So if we go to Free Flight again. And let's go and pick now one of the places they were showing off in the demos that's got a very high resolution upgrade was the Grand Canyon, wasn't it? So we've got Las Vegas over here, and we've got Lake Powell, and then we've got various canyons going out towards the mesas and the buttes and stuff out this way. So where should we go? Where would be a good place to go exploring? Who knows their US geography really well? I guess it's around here, isn't it? It's going to be the Monument Valley Airport. So we should just put ourselves in the air. Fly now. So I guess that will put us in the air over Monument Valley. So we're gonna go touring the world, aren't we, to have a look and see, and go and land and look at the ground, because the very low level stuff is where the biggest change is, apparently. And I have seen a little bit of it with like ploughed fields and stuff, and it was crazy realistic. So, you know, the fractal work at low level was stunning. Okay, so is it going to... Here we go, ready to fly. So we'll go and change the time again. So we're on live weather, I guess. Interesting, we can't go beyond... There's a bit of a bug here with the lighting, or the clock. It doesn't recenter. I remember they had all sorts of problems with this originally. So what we need to do is descend. Go and have a look at some of these settlements. I mean, the rock formations, we know they're going to look good, because it's all been rescanned at much higher resolution than it was previously. But it'd be interesting to just fly along some of these dry riverbeds and see what they look like. Should we change the time? It's not. It's a bit looking a bit flat, isn't it? There we go. So I just want to get low over this scrub and go and have a look at it. Even in terms of textures, the co-pilots look so much better than they did. So this might seem like a crazy thing to do, to just be so interested in random ground features, but I want to see what they've done. So this is just texture then. So there's nothing has been done here really, unless it's still loading it. Yeah, there's bits and pieces, look, coming in. Bang! This is another thing, I almost did that on purpose because I knew that it would do this. I tried this earlier. If you crash, it rewinds you and puts you in the air at about 500 feet or so, or 1,000 feet. So I'm going to go and put the flaps down this time and be ready for it. So it would appear around here they haven't got that fractal scenery kicking in. Which surprises me. Oh, maybe it is. Yes, actually, when you get closer, look, it's kicking in. You can see it coming. We were just going so foolhardy and fast earlier, we didn't see it. It didn't like that either. Let's go somewhere a bit more green. This is quite barren, isn't it, out here? So let's go back out of the world, back in via... Should we go via helicopter? Because then we can hover around and go look at things. Helicopters. Where are the helicopters? Where have they put them? The H125. Not seen this yet. Hopefully I'll be able to fly it. Save them back. So we're going to use the H125, and should we go and have a look around the San Francisco Bay, maybe, along the headlands. Ren Marin headlands, maybe. So if we take off from Mill Valley and start flight, and see what happens. So then we get to have a look around the headlands at the naturally generated terrain, and then we can go and have a look in the city as well. So someone's asking why it isn't as good on Xbox. Well, you can't really compare the Xbox version against what you're seeing here. This is a PC with a 4090 graphics card and 64 gig of RAM. And a fiber internet connection. So we kind of, whoa, why is it in the trees? Oh, maybe this is just a spawn point. But that means we're probably going to hit the trees with the rotors. That's interesting. They've reversed the axes to make the collective work the right way around. So pulling back is pulling up. But it would appear I'm losing engine power, so that's probably a throttle. I'm gonna go into the ground any moment. So what I'm going to do is have a look in the settings and see if there's any assistance it can give me until I've figured the controls out properly. So accessibility, is it in there? I can't remember. Assistances, it will be in here, won't it? So I turned a load of this stuff off when I first came into the sim. Helicopters, assisted cyclic. We'll put everything on for the moment. Normally I wouldn't, but I want to make it easy for you to see. I don't appear to have any power. That's going to be a control configuration issue, I'm sure. Okay, let's go and sort this out before we go any further. Settings, controls, and we want on the throttle quadrant, search by input. What have we got here at the moment? Yeah, this has got the same bug it's always had. Oh, can we not select the axes? Oh my word. Power management. Rotor clutch collective throttle. L-axis Y, so that's the right hand stick, is L-axis Y. Go back. So that should be fine then. Let's put it on the ground. Well, it seems a bit happier now. Where's the RPM? Not flown this at all, so Maybe we just had it reversed. Okay, now we've got a little bit more control over the helicopter, hopefully. So with the right hand stick pushed all the way forwards, we appear to have some power. We can go exploring. No, we're losing power again. So yeah, some work needs to be done to configure things for a helicopter nicely. Which is a bit of a shame. Because you can hear we're just losing power all the time. Copilot looks good though. I do apologise to them that I'm probably going to end up putting in the trees again, because you can hear we're just losing power. There's nothing I can do about it. Whoa. The assistance is not always assistive. This is going to be a controlled descent, I think. Oh, of course, there's shipping, isn't there? I'd forgotten that. They've integrated the shipping databases into the simulator, so all the ships will be out in the bays and on the shipping routes. They still haven't solved the subterranean, or sorry, the submerged docks. But this is much better having lots of boats around, isn't it? Going to go in the water. We're losing power all the time and there's not much we can do about it. Until I spend some time configuring controls properly, there's not much we can do about that. It's just barely staying in the air. But it does give you some idea of how well rendered the boats are, even if they are on top of each other. Okay, let's give up on that for the moment. I'm going back to a normal aeroplane because at least we know the controls are configured correctly for aeroplanes, and we'll go and jump back into the Sonoma Valley somewhere with an aeroplane. So if we do free flight again, and we'll just pick something that's good for flying around and looking around with. For our purposes, actually, the Optica was pretty good, wasn't it? Because you could see where we were going. So back down to the San Francisco Bay. If we take off from San Rafael, maybe set as departure, runway 22, start flight. Let's see how long it takes to load. So will it have cached any of San Francisco? So will this be fairly quick, or is it starting from scratch? And do you actually get to see that scenery below us change as it loads it? I don't think you do, but it will suddenly zoom in once it's got some detail. You'll see it do it. There we go. Which proves the map is the same as the one in the sim.
Charlie Alpha Tree 5 traffic Aero Vera November 469er 4 tree taking off runway 22 straight out departure.
Some speed up. And we get some more idea now of what this sim is capable of. pretty good, isn't it? Okay, let's carry on around the edge of the bay then towards San Francisco and Golden Gate and go and have a look at it and see what they've done. It is lovely and smooth. Obviously this would be better if I had the head tracking working, but Tobii have got a bit of catching up to do. Or Asobo have, whichever. Yeah, the only reason I went with this aeroplane is because the visibility is so good. So we obviously can see below us easily without having head tracking. Bush planes are fantastic if you've got head tracking. So here we go, San Francisco Bay. Coming up towards Lagunitas, is it up here? Or San Rafael? I can never remember my way around all of these inlets. So Andrew Cully is just saying on the live stream chat that the European servers appear to have magically come alive. Finally. So yeah, I had to resort to using NordVPN in order to get the US servers, which is quite a nice trick to have in my back pocket now going forwards, but obviously it would be better if I hadn't had to do that. But kudos to Asobo for pulling it out of the fire, because they were receiving a lot of criticism. So over the coming weeks and months, I will be live streaming my journey through a lot of the license tests and the various missions, and going through each aeroplane, writing up procedures for them and demonstrating how to start them from cold and dark properly, and doing what I usually do in the simulator. So if you've not seen my channel before, you'll have some idea from that. So yeah, I've got a website, so you can find the links in the notes of the video. And I do blog posts all about how to operate the different aeroplanes and step-by-step procedures to walk through them. I record getting started guides for starting up the aeroplanes, demonstrating how to do things, how to use all the different radio kits. So I've got full guides on the Garmin 530 and the G1000s. And right the way up to the big jets, so how to operate the big Boeings, the Airbuses. So yeah, it's I'm going to be busy over the next few months, covering all these new aeroplanes, so trying each of them out in turn, making specific videos out for each aeroplane, showing you how to configure the controls for them, and so on and so forth. detail is a lot higher, isn't it? So we're making our way out along the headlands towards the city. We will get there. So yeah, I'll be working my way through basically every single aeroplane that's now available. I'm going to go through all of the ones that are out of the box, because obviously they don't come with documentation, so the guides I write up, if any of you have never seen any of my guides, it goes step by step with what keyboard combinations to press to get to the various views around the cockpit. I'm guessing the first guide I'm going to have to write is going to be a transition guide of, you know, if you used to do this, this is how you do it now, that kind of thing. And rather than remap all the buttons, try to educate people on this is what you have to press now. Because I think there's a common trap there that I almost fell into myself, of trying to make it into 2020, and it's not. Let's go and have a look at this from the outside. It's very smooth, it has to be said. The horizon line bug is gone. That's all fixed. I haven't seen a single stutter from it so far, at all. So these are those boats that we saw when we went out earlier with the helicopter. So if we follow our way around the edge of the bay, we should see a lot more boats. So we are northern side of San Francisco Bay. Super smooth. So just out of interest then, I don't know if I've remapped. No, I haven't got the trim remapped yet. To easily trim the airplane out. Here comes the Golden Gate. So let's go up to the marine headlands and get the famous shot of the bridge. Try not to hit the hillside, eh? I think every tourist that's ever been here has been up on this road and parked up and taken the photograph, haven't they, from this point? Can I talk about the load on demand distances? I think it's a lot further. You can see here it's drawing out to the other side of the bay. It's an incredible distance further. Let's get some altitude so you can see it a bit more clearly. You can just see it's just spawned all of the buildings on the far side of the hill over there. Yeah, the compression's probably not helping. I wonder if... Can I change the compression on the fly in OBS while we are running? No. Output. Oh, maybe I can. So I've just doubled the bitrate and the quality, so it may slow the stream down. But it's essentially, it's drawing out to the hillside on the far side of the bay. And over here, it's drawing out to the hills over there. You can see all of the... Certainly at this quality, it's taking it out to about 5 miles from us, which is unheard of. Let's go and have a look at San Francisco International and see if there's much traffic moving around. So it was Shift Z, wasn't it? To... So someone's saying press apply in OBS. I already did. So it may have to wait for the next stream for it to actually do it. I've told... This is not a helicopter, this is the Optica, which was a British aircraft designed for the police to do observation work. So if you see it from outside, it looks a bit like a Gazelle on the front end, but with a turbofan behind it. Mark Hamill famously flew one in a sci-fi movie in the late 80s, and I can't remember its name. Ah, did I press... OK, so if I go into settings and output and say, yeah, I said apply because it's not lit up. So we're just going out to San Francisco International to have a look at it, to see how much of a mess the live traffic is making of things. I'm not sure where the settings are for the live traffic light view, so I don't know if they are in... What is... Oh, that's some flight control replay, which is still here. Yeah, there's some add-ons I need to probably remove, which are of no use anymore. So what's in the cog? Okay, so that's controlling, so I can get rid of some of these things, so the Miltech carriers and airshow assistant, and just leave it on the basics for the moment. I'll probably go and remove some of those old add-ons that obviously you're not expecting them to work correctly. Yeah, so there's the pub quiz question for anybody. Slipstream, someone's already answered it. It was the Mark Hamill movie. I think it was a terrible movie, but yeah, this plane was kind of the thing of note in the movie. So we can see San Francisco International just coming around the corner. I just want to overfly it and see what traffic is going on inside the airport. I haven't seen any settings yet in the sim for traffic. If we press escape and go and have a look before we get there. So flight interface, advanced options, so controls, accessibility, VR. So it would be in general, wouldn't it? They used to have a traffic option. Has it completely gone away? Has it been taken out of our hands? So flight model is as it used to be. Camera is camera control. Oh, here we go, online. Okay. So aircraft traffic type, real-time online. Live weather is on, multiplayer is on. I'm on the East Coast based on automatic because it's using the VPN. Show multiplayer, enable voice chat. Interesting. So does that mean we now have voice chat built into the sim instead of using Discord? Because that's a game changer if it does. So it would appear that the air traffic is going to look after itself then. So here comes San Francisco International. We're about to break all sorts of aviation laws and circle the airfield looking for traffic. See what's parked up, because I'm interested to see what the airlines look like that are parked at the gates. Somebody taxiing down there. So let's slow down. Get the flaps down. Yeah, it's spawning big jets. So let's go and circle over. So we got a United, is that down there? Of A320s, is that an ATR? I think. Let's get a bit closer to them. It's very, very smooth. I've never seen it this smooth near a big airport with traffic. It's stunningly smooth, actually. That's ridiculous. So there's a United plane. There's some factory Boeing liveries around. So I know they've been fighting to try and get licensing for the various liveries, somewhat successfully. And we got some joker doing donuts on the taxiways. But that is surprising just how smooth this is, considering what it's throwing around. So you've effectively got one of the study level airports, or sorry, high definition airports with lots of ground traffic, and it's very smooth. You've got no delays on loading the assets either. I don't know if anybody noticed that. The assets are coming in and leaving with no stutters. So that'll be the multi-threaded programming. So they've done the asset management in a separate thread than the animation. which is a game changer. That makes such an enormous difference. Because I don't know if you all remember, on approach to airports in 2020, it would often stutter as you saw it load the assets. That's gone. So as we approached this airport and it was loading all these assets in, it was silky smooth all the way in. There's an A380 over there. So San Francisco Airport is an aftermarket inclusion as part of one of the world updates. I think was it USA 2 it came in? And they replaced the AI generated version of it with the handcrafted version. It's a nice A380. Should we land and go and have a taxi around and annoy everybody? So there's a MD-80 down there, look. Oh, look where I'm going, otherwise I'll end up hitting a lighting gantry and smash my plane to pieces. Alright, let's go and do a Harrison Ford and land on a taxiway. He's never going to live that down, is he? See, look, you still do get some of the old generic liveries. Okay, let's just roll for a while. Have I not got any toe brakes? Maybe they're just a bit feeble. No, I just haven't configured them. Is it space to do the brakes? No. Okay, I don't have any brakes, so we stop for nobody. Let's I just want to go and be nosy and have a look around the airport. So does this mean, though, the way this now works, if I put the parking brake on, which will jam us to a halt, if I'm in the aeroplane, if I understand this correctly, can I now get out and go for a walk? I can indeed. So, is there a way of changing our viewpoint to third person? Because there's our little guy. If we go settings, controls, keyboard, and search. Well, actually, we don't need to search, do we? We can just go and look at the camera controls. External camera fixed, slew mode photo, true cockpit, slew mode, smart camera. I don't know what it will be called. External camera? Maybe it's the same as the aeroplane. So we're looking at ourselves. If we press backspace, do we get to see ourselves? No. How does that work then? It's like I can rotate us around. Is it I, J, and K? And L? I, J, K, and L, yeah. Move us around rotation-wise, and we can walk. Is there actually a third-person camera? So if we go up here, we're in cockpit mode, free look. Pilot. That's the internal pilot views. I don't know how it works. It's not... Obviously there's no documentation for any of this. Instrument, pilot, close, pilot, landing, co-pilot. Free look, fixed look. That's going to be the aircraft ones, isn't it? Yeah, so I don't quite know how this works, of how you would see yourself. So we can obviously walk back to our aeroplane. Normally you would use this obviously for... Oh look, that's handy, someone's plugged a battery in. Presumably because I put the parking brake on, so that triggered it on this particular aeroplane. Isn't it smooth? When I saw the footage, the advertising footage of the airport with the big jets moving around, I thought, oh, I wonder if that's pre-rendered, it looks too smooth. But no, look, it's doing it. It's I'm amazed, to be honest. Should we get back in the air? Well, I'm just reading the live stream comments there about there's been a lot of negativity. You can understand it. People were frustrated because they've been looking forward to this simulator for a long time, and obviously the server load, sometimes there's no way of simulating, you know, what the load will be or what problems you will face when the real load comes, or if you've got the scaling configured correctly to horizontally scale the server farm to take the load. It's yeah, it's a very complicated thing to get right. So do we get to choose our co-pilot while we're in the aeroplane? Let's have a quick look. Settings. Controls, accessibility, VR, flight model, flight interface. Is this it? I can't remember. External, no. Sound, language, graphics. So graphics is just the normal default stuff. Language is you can choose your spoken languages. Online we already saw. Camera is the default camera controls. Flight model is which flight model you're using. No, it doesn't appear you can. So it must be back out at the main menu where you choose the experience in the game, which is fine. She's getting huffy with me now because I'm thinking of replacing her. Can I show the replay tool? And I'm going to answer that by saying, what replay tool? I don't know what comes in the sim, to be honest, because I've got obviously flight control replay up here, and there's this one here. So that pauses it. So they've just got a basic pause control now, which they never had before, which I'm guessing that's like the free look pause, or whatever it was called. Active pause. What does that do? Okay, so that's control configuration while you're flying. There's communication, so if this has its own box now, does this imply we can talk to each other if we're tuned in? Aha! So Mohammed is saying, going into settings, select general, advanced, allow third person view camera. Then backspace activates, so it works, yeah, so it does do it the way we imagined. So the reality of making services that can scale horizontally in the way that this would have needed to, it's not as easy as just saying a number. At the end of the day, it comes down to money as well. And yes, you could configure Azure to do an infinite amount of horizontal scaling, and then you need an infinite size bank account. So the ugly VFR map. Where is the map? I can't see it. Have I switched it off somehow? It's not showing here. It's in the tablet, isn't it? So if you go into tablet, so this isn't ugly. You can configure it. It's in layers. You can say I want a satellite map, for example. It's pretty awesome. So you can do, obviously, vector type maps, but you don't have to. It's still pretty good, for free. Sorry, I always tend to look on the positive side of things that you get for nothing in a sim. And I know you're going to say, oh, it's not for nothing because the sim costs however much money. But I think it's great. There's going to be so much to dig into in this, to go and explore and figure out how it works. So if, say, we go from KSFO, and we're not going to do any of that, and we're just going to go to, is it Charles M. Schultz? That's up in north of the bay. Whoops, if I could type. They haven't fixed that, look. Typing into a box, the keys actually happened and I've got no control while I'm typing. So I'm going to have to close this to get control of the aeroplane. That was an interesting one. Should we go and have a circle round over Twin Peaks, isn't it? It's called, up on the hill, where the radio beacon is. So there are some specific controls about controlling parachute, or sorry, free falling. So I imagine some of the missions involve jumping out and controlling the descent and the parachute, I'm guessing. Haven't got to that yet. So I'll be working through those tutorials bit by bit and live streaming them probably. And so you'll get to see me do well or badly at things. flying it towards the hilltop here. It's incredibly smooth. So I haven't seen any loading stutters, so that is obviously it loads assets in a different thread. Different processes. They really have. They seem to have mastered that completely. So, good evening, Jim. Have a good evening, and I'll see you online soon. Thanks for watching. Yeah, this is amazing, isn't it? It really is. So is this where we go and try and land in Golden Gate Park or somewhere? Or one of the football grounds? I'm not sure if there's any room in Golden Gate Park to land an aeroplane, to be honest. There's too many trees in the sim version of it, probably. Let's get the speed down, get the flaps down, and see what we can do about it. The only reason I know so much about San Francisco is my cousin lives just north of the bay. So I have been several times over the years to visit. So I know my basic way around the Bay Area. Not brilliantly, but enough to get by. She used to run a produce delivery business in and around the city and the bay. So I went out on the rounds with her one morning, early in the morning, doing deliveries and going fetching the produce first from the docks, then preparing it and then going out on deliveries for the day. It was great fun. Okay, so they've still got in various places the old tree modelling, so it isn't completely uniform yet. I take it the Alcatraz is still modelled quite nicely, hopefully. I imagine damage is switched on, so I imagine we'll slam into the bridge if we try to fly through the supports. But we can fly alongside it. Or, if, like somebody said, if we're very careful, we could land and try and walk the bridge in third-person view. Depends if the bridge road surface is a surface that's modelled for an aircraft to land on. We'll try it. If it crashes, it crashes, and we'll just spawn somewhere else in the world to go and explore. Yeah, because look, it's still got the old problems with the crazy rendering of routes, but it's not as bad as it once was. Well, maybe we will fit. Will we fall through the floor? Let's get on the level first. No. There we go. Yeah, so it hit the support. It's a solid structure even though there are holes in it. Where else shall we go and try in the world? suitably picturesque to go and have an explore of. Maybe some of the islands? The famous one everybody used to go and head for was St. Bartholomew, wasn't it? Or Barts, where all of the superstars go for their holidays. So if we go and pick a little aeroplane of some description, and we'll go and explore St. Barts and see what they've done with it. Which one shall we pick? Something with fairly good visibility, obviously. That's interesting. I've not tried any of the Coronados out yet. Have they been rebuilt? Does anybody know? Oh, there's a lot of new aircraft. This is the big version of the new sim, so I've got everything. I haven't even touched the surface of a lot of these goodies that are now available. So this has got my old purchases as well as the new aircraft in here. There's things like the A10, look. Oh, I don't know. What are we going to pick to go and have a look around? The mall? Oh, that's the one with the Kit Fox there. This looks interesting, doesn't it? Again, it's a Got Friends one that Microsoft seems to have acquired. There's a lot of new airplanes to play around with. There's the one that was released for free. The Pelican, I think it's called. Canadair CL415. Let's just go for one of these new... This is really for aerial advertising. But, oh no, let's go for the Shock Ultra. It's an old favourite, isn't it? We're just going to go and have a look around the Bay Area in St. Barts. So if we put ourselves on the ground down here and start our flight, I'm not sure what time of day we've got set, but we'll soon find out. I think it'd be interesting to see what it looks like around the beach area. Because everybody knows the Shock Ultra, you'll be able to see if it's been upgraded or not. So this is the interesting bit, isn't it? Because the camera, yeah, is going to zoom straight down to the ground. Very interesting. Oh, of course, then the time kicks in. I told you I didn't set the time, did I? So let's go and change the time to daytime, please. Okay, why am I not seeing anything? Is it just slow to load, or is it failed in some way? It's just going slow, I think. I'm not seeing an aeroplane. I've seen this happen earlier. Oh no, there it is. Or is that the one that's parked next to me? This has not loaded in, has it? There's a problem. Because if I press the backspace key, it's doing nothing. And I've just got a person stood next to nothing. Let's resume again. This isn't my aeroplane, is it? No. So again, we've hit a bug by the look of it. So some of these old airplanes don't appear to work. Let's try a DHC-2, a Beaver, and do the same again. So back into St. Barts. Whoa, there were some bugs there, weren't there? So set that as a departure. Can we set the conditions up here? So we can set the time of day. Save and back. Start flight. So is this a problem with loading old aeroplanes? Have they not hooked up all the servers yet or something? I do remember reading something about this earlier. No, we have an airplane this time. But it hasn't quite finished loading yet. Here it goes, ready to fly. So there's our aeroplane. It does look very good. So if we just press backspace, can we do that? Can we not just get in? Why will this not let me fly? Okay, so Shift C does that as well. So that's just switching between the external and the internal view. So backspace will give us the external view. Shift C takes us to the walk-around view. So we were talking earlier, weren't we, about the walk-around view and whether we could allow third-person camera view. So then when we press backspace here, there we go. So you see the virtual version of me with my anorak on. And my combats and my baseball cap. GTA 5 mode confirmed, as somebody says. So if we press Shift and C, we're back inside the airplane. So this looks really nice, actually. The chrome seems to be rendered a bit better, and it's got the 3D tablet. How you switch this off is another matter. There's probably a click spot for it, I imagine. So, propeller, mixture, throttle is sort of working. It's not configured correctly, but I'm not going to go delving into that too much today. We'll go and, do we have to, oh, they fixed that rattly pipe then. We don't appear to, it's already been tightened up. So, power on, beacon light on. Center tank's fine. We've got both the mags on, and then okay, we have an engine running. How many RPM are we getting? Can't quite see it, can we? Because that lever's in the way. 1000 RPM, let it warm up. Let's go and put the avionics on then. So radio's on. Check the breakers, we should have done that first really. Nav light's on. So this is interesting. The transponder came on in on mode, but we'll put it on out mode. It should have been in standby really. Seems a bit odd. And we'll fire up the GPSs and taxi out. We can presumably tighten up these knobs so they don't rattle around all day long. There we go. Let me just have a quick look outside. Oh. So we do have to go, and I thought the that's annoying. I would have thought the parking brake would have removed everything. So presumably we have to go walking around doing all this stuff. Do we just click on it? Yeah. So it's been massively simplified, but it works. It's funny how much you miss head tracking once you haven't got it. So the thing that strikes me about this is how smooth it is. I don't know why I'm doing things correctly, because we're just messing around. But there's something that itches away at you, isn't there? If you know you haven't done something correctly, and it just niggles away at the back of your mind. Let's go and have a look at some of these trees then. So you're getting a real mixture here, look, of actual boats and then pictures of boats, but it's better than it used to be. was more of a wallop than a landing, wasn't it? And I have got no parking brakes again. I can't stop. I really do need to go and sit down and look at the controls properly. So, another place that came to mind a few moments ago to go and look would be the Shetland Islands, because they had custom scenery in the old version of the sim. So, let's go and try a different aeroplane. Although I suppose this one would do. Yeah, so we'll stick with the same aeroplane. I think it's up here somewhere. Out Skerries, that's the one. So yeah, look, you're actually seeing the sim world over on the right hand side of the screen there with the animated water and the rock formations. So as we zoomed in, it basically loaded it, and now it's just bringing it in a bit more detail. So I guess it's pulling in now the atmospherics and things like that, and then it will give us access to it. There we go. Ready to fly. Yeah, so this is one of the places that had significant investment. You can see, look, with the little harbour behind us, and the fence posts with the wire on, and this crazy runway. So Dev Benson is saying about the problems with the scenery. With the loading the simulator. I've got around that this evening by installing a VPN and going via America basically. So I connected my VPN to America. I used NordVPN. I went and bought it earlier. I used NordVPN, connected to American servers, and then ran the simulator, and it's been absolutely fine. And the only reason for that is Asobo are obviously working their way around the world, country or region by region, fixing the servers or dealing with the networking issues. And they got the Americas done first, by the look of it, or North America at least. So Canada and the United States, they were up and running earlier this evening. So I went and bought a VPN client because I was talking to a friend who was having no trouble logging in. And that's basically solved it for them. So let's go and do this and do that. We need a little bit of flaps and tear this up, hold it in a straight line, try not to hit the fishing boat as we come off the wrong way. So this will be a really nice demonstration of a lot of custom rocks and custom scenery. So we'll go low and slow. And go and have a look around. So if I sit myself back down in the cockpit so I can see underneath the edge. This is the real problem if you haven't got head tracking. You can't really see easily. I'll have to do it from outside. And we'll have a play with the weather as well. If we turn the wind up, we'll see the water. Obviously, we've got it on a really still evening. So the water's like a mill pond, but it wouldn't normally be like this up in this part of the world. It would usually be a howling gale. But yeah, you can see, look, these rocks aren't changing shape. So that's been solved. We'll turn the wind up in a minute, so it will give us some breaking water in the area. Let's see what it looks like. So you've got some catch nets down here, look, for storing the fishing catch. That's impressive, isn't it? So let's go and have a look at the weather settings. So we got this thing. Did it remember clear skies? Did it not get the weather? So if we said live weather, there we go. That's more of what I was expecting. That's impressive, isn't it? Going downwind and it doesn't like doing it. But this is a pretty good example of this new rendering engine in the sim. That's a proper wind, isn't it? It's struggling to stay aloft. The sun on the water is pretty spectacular, isn't it? And through the cloud as well. The reflections are improved as well, I think. So you are seeing rocks moving around a little bit now and again, but nothing like we used to see. See if we can land it. Like I said, this would be an awful lot easier with head tracking, but Tobii haven't sorted it out yet. Or Asobo haven't, whichever you want to blame. So come out towards the lighthouse. Try and clear this rock, but also line up with the runway. That turbulence is impressive. Don't like this crab angle very much. Whoa. And crash. That, to be honest, that was unflyable conditions. Unless, if you had head tracking, it might be possible. Where else shall we try? Somebody else said Jamaica, didn't they? So we'll go and grab a different aeroplane, something. The only thing against the Sting, let's try something new. Pipistrel's been in it forever, hasn't it? There's this new, the Sky Rascal. I wonder how that works. Or the Magni Gyro M24. Presumably you have to be going along quite fast though for it to work. There's this new electric Jetson 1 thing. And there's the... should we try something that can land in the water? I know it's been in the sim forever, but it might be interesting to see that happen, to see how it, if they've improved it or changed it. So... I'm just going to go... Actually, this is a good point. Will LittleNavMap work? I've not tried it yet. Does it know where we are? So, tools, connect to flight simulator. Connect. It doesn't know where we are. Perhaps it needs an update. Nothing available yet. Connected to simulator. Although we're not on the map yet, are we? I'm being an idiot. All I was going to look at is where we're going to go next. So if we do go to Jamaica, I guess, where should we go? What would be a good place to go? Down by Kingston? So we'll go for this airport that's right in the middle of the city and start flight here. Although we'll probably need to change time of day, won't we? Yeah, so we'll have to change the time. Ready to fly. It's got the covers on. Interesting. So, is this done the same trick to us again, where we have to go and interact with it a little bit to get it working? So if we press Shift and C, and then press Control E, but that won't remove the covers. Presumably that's in the tablet somewhere. Or not. Is there another tablet in here? Or is it connected to the parking brake or something crazy like that? No, do we have to get out and go and click on them? Yeah. We have no sound. That's a bug. So maybe we won't use that airplane after all. But we'll use that airfield though. So let's go and choose one of the new ones. What about this Sea Star thing? Sea Wings Sea Star. Dornier, Sea Wings, Sea Star. We'll just have a quick look first before we decide on it. See what else is available. This is new, isn't it? Cessna C400 Corvallis. Should we go and have a look at it? It's worth a look, isn't it? Back. Oh, sorry, wrong country. So we were going to go from Tinson, weren't we? So let's go down here, set as departure. Actually, if we put ourselves on the runway, and we'll set the time of day. And then the airplane will already be running if we're on the runway apron, won't it? I do like the way the new world map integrates with the rest of the simulator. So it sits here and pauses for a while. I'm guessing it's loading in assets when it does it. Okay, so if we press Control, I thought we told it to put it on the runway. It's still loading, isn't it? So if we press Control E, what happens? Nothing. Have they not implemented Control E, maybe? So we've got to figure out how to work the thing. Interesting. Carved mahogany. Pilot. Controller. So. Oh, I think we've actually got a broken sim. We've got no sound again. I think we've broken it. Let's try one more. If not, I might call it a night because we've been loading in and out and trying all sorts of things out. I'm amazed it's lasted as long as it has, to be honest. Let's just go and pick something random. The Cub Crafter will do. And try once more for Jamaica. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We're going to go down here, won't we? We'll put ourselves on the runway this time for certain, set as departure, and we'll set the time of day. And start flight. No, I think, Jason, it was working earlier. I think we've probably broken it. Yeah, look, it's not put itself on the apron, although it might move itself in a moment. Yeah. Ready to fly. Yeah, we have no engine noise. I think it's just a bug. So we've got the quietest aeroplane. I don't think it's something I've pressed. We've got no sound at all, actually. Which is interesting. Yeah, the sim's having a bad day. Let's go and let's see how quickly it loads again then. So if I quit the desktop just before we do end this for the night. So it's not quitting to desktop, which is not a good sign. So it's showing up in Task Manager. I mean, we can force it to stop. Let's see how much memory it's using. Oh no, it's gone away. But is it still down here? There's a ton of stuff in here. It's disappeared. No, it hasn't. So end task. And close LittleNavMap. And let's launch it again and see what happens. See if it survives being stopped and started in such a manner. And we'll see how quickly it loads again. So I imagine most of the US is probably now home from work, or people that are going to be playing this, and might be completely destroying the US servers for all we know. It's oh my word, it's gone 1 AM here. I ought to go and collapse into bed. Got a busy day tomorrow. It's funny, someone's asking there, did it break after we connected it to LittleNavMap? It did cross my mind. So it's loading far more slowly through those first few percent than it did earlier. But at least it's carrying on. I do have some packages to go and remove, things like Flight Control Replay and Super Carrier that I just have no interest in. I just want to play with the stock 2024 sim for a while. So activating packages. So this is not loading as quickly as it did earlier. So there are still server load issues going on, obviously. It's not as bad as it was. So world data should jump across to about 80% fairly rapidly. if past experience is anything to go by, and then it will jump on to 90 fairly rapidly. And if the servers are listening, it should jump straight through to the start page fairly quickly. So there's the jump to 80. There's the jump into the 90s about to happen. And there we go. So, free flight. We had the Cub Crafter, didn't we? So then let's go and take ourselves back to the same airport that was causing trouble. Well, it wasn't the airport that was causing trouble. I think the sim had just had enough. It's fed up with us messing around with it. Let's put ourselves on the runway, actually. So set that as our departure. Set the time. And start the flight. You can see it loading assets already. The 3D buildings are appearing within a second or two. The cars have just appeared. So if you watch it carefully, you can actually see the assets arriving. The aeroplanes were there first, bizarrely. So then it carries on loading assets. It's loaded all the tree types in, look, and now it's ready to go. But it hasn't put us on the runway apron. That bug is still there from the old sim, where it ignores where you've told it to launch from. So I'm guessing we have to go and get rid of these stupid chocks. And anything else? The pitot covers. I think that's everything on this one, isn't it? So then we can press. Oh, does backspace still work? Yeah, we can still do that walking around if we want to. And they're watching us do it. Thanks a lot for helping over there. You could have done that for us, couldn't you? So Shift C puts us inside. Control E, and we have an engine. Off the parking brake. Just wait for this to fire up. This is just the G3000, is it? I always mix up the numbers of these things. We'll just wait for the synthetic horizon, I think it's called, to turn up. And then we'll go flying. Takes it a few seconds, doesn't it, usually, to boot up, if at all. I don't think it simulates it moving around, stopping it from aligning itself. There we go, it's just loaded. So where are we going? Let's press backspace over here. So this might actually be quite a good example, because look at the quality of the grass. And the trees. Has this done the same thing? Has it gone to clear skies? Yes, it has. I think I've done that in the menu by accident, and it's remembered it. Someone said, are we leaving skid marks on the ground? Let's go and land on some rough ground and find out what happens when we trundle around on it. So if we try and land down here. Nope, didn't like it. I haven't turned the damage control off yet. Let's try that once more. Let's go and land somewhere fairly a bit smoother, on a beach or something, and see if it leaves marks in the sand. And also, before we do it, let's go to settings and controls, and this controller, and search by input. Joystick button 1 has nothing on it. Search for brake. Brakes. Okay, go back. Resume. So I now have a working brake on the trigger of the joystick. And let's go and find somewhere fairly okay to land and start squirreling the plane around to see if it leaves marks on the ground, because it should. No, doesn't like touching the tail on the ground, does it? for some reason. Wonder why that is. It's got a tiny little... Oh, it's a tricycle, that'll be why. So it doesn't like touching the tail at all. That would make sense. So there's me trying to force the tail into the ground, and it's a tricycle undercarriage. I forgot it was this version. Look at the quality of the ground. Oh my word. I know people have talked about this, but that's just nuts. That's what they've been talking about, isn't it? That's the fractal generation using AI. Just to complete it, to make this simulator really good, and I know this is gruesome, wouldn't it be great if you could run into the ground crew and get penalised for it. Let's go over closer to the tree line then. That's amazing, isn't it? This is what they were talking about. Let's see where the grass line meets the rocks. Someone else said this is like Grand Theft Auto mode, isn't it? You expect him to start running any moment, and then a star to appear in the top corner of the screen. It's very clever, look. He reacts to where the airplane is, so you can squeeze around underneath it. Does he go to the propeller? Yeah, you can walk through the propeller though. The quality of the trees though. Sorry, but a bit stuck in the rocks here. Need a fairly long run somewhere. There we go. I need to go to bed at some point soon. This is getting a bit silly. This is, what is it, 1:30 in the morning now. I have to work tomorrow. So So the one place I want to go in the sim, just to go and have a look at before I go to bed, is where is it? Sacramento, Modesto, Fresno. I can never remember where this is. There we go, Yosemite. So if we put ourselves over here somewhere, and set the time of day to an appropriate time. Oh, live. Can we not change it? Interesting. Presumably we have to do it in here then. So we say live weather and time, but we want to change the time. Can we not just drag that? Yeah, we can. It's just being silly. Save and back and start. I just want to go and have a look at Yosemite because apparently it's had a revamp. So everybody watching, please do go and hit the subscribe button on the channel and like the video or the stream, however it works. I'm not really a YouTube professional, I just like sharing things. Whoa. I think we're about to be surprised by the sim. Oh my word. I mean, I was kind of expecting this to be good, but this is a different level of good, isn't it? So is that El Capitan, the big one on the left? That half dome in the distance. I'm not an expert at this part of the world, but I remember little bits. And look at this. Different sorts of trees on the ski slopes. That's mad. I mean, I knew they said they'd improved it. Actually, once you get close, you can see the limit of the resolution on the textures, but it's still impressive. But this is the real story, isn't it? The trees and the dirt and the rocks are massively improved. It would help if it wasn't blowing a gale and throwing the aeroplane everywhere. So someone's saying, is there a download content to add engine sounds? I think what's going on is there are bugs. And obviously we're putting the sim through the mill. We've reloaded it twice during the evening. But it does appear that it's turned a corner. It's seriously impressive. Should we try and land on this by the river here and see if it's as good as everybody says? would be the best place to land? Or do we go around the corner a bit further? Look at this! Oh my word. So we've got a pretty strong crosswind going on here, I think, but we should be okay. Remember, we got tricycle undercarriage. Now we can actually see the ground in between the shafts of sunlight. This is mad, isn't it? The meadowland is just incredible. I was hoping we'd be near some water somewhere. Can I get there without hitting a tree? Or do I get out of the aeroplane and walk? This is funny. Grand Theft Flight Simulator. Now, can you walk into the water? Is the next question. It's reeds. Oh my word, there's reeds on the water's edge. This is just not even funny. And that's computing. You can see in the reflections it's computing the water mask around the pebbles. That's absolute madness. So can we go into the water without dying? Oh, we walk on water by the look of it. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? Look at that view. I am just stunned, to be honest. This is just on another level, isn't it? I mean, it's just absolute craziness. So if I make him walk that way and then turn the camera around, I can give myself a selfie. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for this evening. Hopefully you've enjoyed having a look around Flight Sim 2024 with me. Please do subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, and I'll be, as I said, I'll be preparing lots of videos and lots of written content as well over the next few weeks and months, with guides to all of the new aeroplanes and some, first look proper videos running through cold and dark startups for them all, doing it all properly, following proper procedures. And yeah, it's going to be hard work, but it's going to be good fun. And this just proves in 24 hours or so I've turned the corner. This is stunning. It's going to be interesting to see where they take this. Obviously there's a lot of work for them to do, probably a year to iron the wrinkles out of it, but it's already very, very good. I'm going to leave it there in Yosemite. So the next few weeks are going to be good fun, aren't they? I'd love to see the broadband bill at Asobo, or even the bandwidth bill for their server farms. It's going to be just nuts. Oh dear, so someone's mentioned that I can walk on water. Apparently I can. Right. Back to the main menu. So I'll obviously live stream my attempts at the career mode. I've had a couple of A grades and a couple of B grades now, so classic, isn't it? At the time when nobody was watching, I got A's. So as soon as I had people watching, I was getting B's. But I think, as someone mentioned earlier, the weather had changed and made it a little bit more difficult, which is fascinating, because that could mean that, doing the different career challenges could be affected by weather. So JT says, currently not worth the money we paid for this. I think this is well worth it. I think this is stunning, what they've done. But then I'm always a bit of an optimist. But I'm super impressed. Now the servers are sorted out, this is just a next level. It's a huge leap forwards. The flight models are better. The physics is just a whole nother level up. Obviously it's got bugs. It's version 1. Of this new engine, and it's taking advantage of the latest hardware. So obviously I'm looking at it from the position of the latest hardware as well, which maybe isn't a very fair comparison, but I'm super impressed with it all. The modelling of the world and the modelling of the physics added together is just absolutely astounding. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care, everybody. Thank you ever so much for watching. See you soon.